we got Billy Corgan here. Smashing Pumpkins. Well, just sitting. Just sitting here. I can't wait to talk to you. I'm a huge fan of many things that you do. You are in this building daily doing a podcast of your own. How's that going? You enjoying podcasting?
It's a work in progress.
That's a no.
No, I mean, I enjoy it, but it's a totally different skill set that I'm used to. You know,
talking. What is this?
I'm not funny like you see.
But it's not a funny one, right? No
jokes.
There are no jokes, but it is like conspiracies or UFOs or things like that, right?
No, you're confusing me with Fred Durst.
I never confuse you. Your hair is totally different.
Fred Durst is doing the conspiracy UFO podcast.
What is yours?
Just talking to smart people about artistic things.
I'm stupid. Never been invited on. But this is, today we're doing
bald. You're funny.
Thank you.
Are we going to the bald jokes now? Or?
No jokes. Bald on bald, serious talk. Smart, serious talk, bald on bald.
Can I ask a production question real quick?
Oh, no.
No.
Yes,
small thing.
Okay.
Just whoever's running my headphones, if they could just turn you down from Godzilla level to comedian level.
Okay. I'm too loud. I love that.
I ask that all the time, too.
You're too loud. She's too loud, too.
Down.
She's too loud, too. Let's take the headsets off.
I love it. Okay, we go.
No. And if we got to listen to something, we'll take it off. I'm sorry. But the fact that you've been talking to me for 30 seconds and I'm already annoying in your ears is so on brand for me. That's exactly what I am. I need it because I got to hear my daughter when she talks.
Actually, I want to hear her too, so I'll put my headphones back on.
She could be annoying too.
I have nothing to say. It's okay.
You have nothing to say?
Nothing.
Okay. She's a germaphobe.
Nothing smart. He likes talking to smart people. Nothing smart.
You're very smart and very articulate.
Did he let you get a word in edgewise as you were growing up? That's what I want to know.
He doesn't.
I do. I always let. It's always very important to hear what she has to say.
There was.
You ask, you answer. You get an answer. You
obviously have not watched our podcast because you would know I barely get a word in.
To be fair, I have watched her podcast.
She doesn't want to be fair. She doesn't want to be fair.
My first thought when I walked in is that his lovely daughter? That was my first thought, yes.
Really? Oh, wow. He wasn't, Jackie, he wasn't looking at you.
Oh.
He was looking at at Jeremy. Can we get a shot of Jeremy? There's Jeremy.
Yeah.
That's Jeremy.
Jeremy had spoken.
Oh, okay. But anyway, welcome for coming. And somebody just informed me that we have the wrong picture posted behind me. Behind me, right here.
It happens. There are actually me and Bill Burr memes.
Do people come up to you in the street and ask you to rant or tell you were hysterical?
Listen, if I had Bill Burr's money, I'm happy to be a Bill Burr. You know what I mean?
I think you have Bill Burr's money.
No, I do not. I guarantee you I don't have Bill Burr's money.
I guarantee you're pretty close.
But I do have a Bill Burr story if you want to hear it, and I've never told it anywhere. In fact, most of my friends don't even know this story. If you want.
I would love to hear a Bill Burr story that you won't even share with your friends. But you'll share it with a guy who's annoyed you in the first 30 seconds of being with you.
Well, I've had the fortunate opportunity of meeting you in the past, and I've always liked you. So whatever you do today won't necessarily, you know what I mean? Like, you're good with me even if you totally mess up today. You're safe is what I'm trying to say.
Well, go fuck yourself. I'm just testing. I'm testing. Okay, no, go ahead. Tell me your Bill Burr story.
So about 10 years ago, it sounds about right time-wise, one of my brothers was having a birthday party. And my stepmother was there, who was obviously married to my mother, not my real mother, but my stepmother.
Who was married to your father.
Yes, but who I grew up with.
Right.
And my stepmother said to me, "Do you know who Bill Burr is?" Now, at that point, I'd never heard of Bill Burr. I didn't know who he was. I didn't know he was a comedian or he could have been the guy down the street.
Right.
And she said, "Well, he's this comedian, da-da-da." And I think I even somehow called up a picture on a phone. And I kind of noticed right away, like, gee, he really looks like my father. Bill Burr looks more like my father than Bill Burr looks like me or I look like Bill Burr. So I said to my mother, like, well, why are you asking me this? You know, I thought maybe the first thing she was just going to say, oh, he just thought you noticed the resemblance. She goes, I think it might be one of your father's illegitimate children. Bill Burr might be one of the children that your father sired in his days on being a traveling musician. This is a true story. I'm not making up. There's no joke in this. This is a true story. I've never told this anywhere, honestly.
Wow.
So I said to my stepmother, I said, okay, that sort of works. And I looked at Bill's age, and we're similar age. And my father did once tell me that I had a half-brother named Bill, who was basically born around the same time as me. He told me on my 18th birthday. This is all totally true. I swear to God. Bottom of my heart, cross my heart, hope to die. So, yes, I see your face. So I said, well, how many other possible illegitimate children does Daddy have? Because he did tell me about this one Bill. And again, I didn't know that Bill was a famous comedian. He could have been a guy just working down the street at the Laugh Factory in Chicago, or whatever. I had no idea who he was. None. Zero. And she goes, I think there's 12 total. Well, he was a traveling musician.
With a load of sperm.
Well, God bless on that. So I've never brought it up. I certainly know people who know Bill. And I've never gone to them, but I did. The one thing I did do was I went and looked up Bill's history, and saw I think he was raised on the East Coast, Boston, something like that. And it says these are his parents, and his life looks pretty normal. If I'd seen like he was adopted or maybe something, but so I've never brought it up. But when you came up to me today talking about Bill Burr,
Bill Burr, because show the both pictures. Should we call Bill Burr and tell him the story?
I don't want to be made fun of by Bill Burr. He's very funny, and I really don't want the psychological darts in my heart. So,
because I can call him. I have his number.
All respect to Bill Burr. He's obviously very talented, very funny.
You showed me, I was telling you about this, and you showed me a picture of your father.
Okay, and what was your reaction?
Oh my God. Can we post a picture? Can we show a picture of your father?
There's you can find ones that do look like Bill Burr, but I mean there's a bunch of him playing with me and stuff like that. So, but the one I showed you, the reason I showed you that one because I wanted you to have that reaction. When I first saw Bill Burr, and again, when I first saw Bill Burr, I'd never heard of him, seen him.
Is this a possibility? We got to get both of you to take a 23andMe.
But just let me finish the one thing. The first time I ever saw Bill Burr's face, again,
right.
I had no idea who he was.
Okay.
He could have been the guy next door or the most famous comedian on the earth. I had no idea. The first time I saw his face, I thought, oh my God, he looks like Daddy. Like I had an immediate reaction. And anybody that is in my inner circle that knows this story, anytime they ever, and there obviously people knew my father, when I go, doesn't Bill Burr look like Daddy? Or what do you think? And they all have the same reaction, like, oh my God, he really looks like your father.
What is the name of your father? What was the name of your father's band that he toured with?
He had different bands. None had any kind of renown.
Wow. Do you know what club he played in the Boston area?
Shakey's, Shakey's Pizza.
Oh my God, wait till I tell Bill about his mom.
Can I say one last thing?
Yes.
It's my belief at this point, because I've sat on this story for 10 years, that I don't think Bill Burr and I are related. I think it's just one of those things, it just...
Well, I think internet sleuths...
Have you ever noticed that Bono looks a lot like Robin Williams?
Okay.
Like when you see Bono in person, he has a Robin Williams-esque kind of, profile and stuff.
Right.
So what I'm saying is there are people in the world who just look alike.
Put up the two pictures of, put up him and Bill. Those two pictures that we were looking at before this?
They're scrambling now. You see,
fucking crazy. They could scramble.
Your crack crew.
Yeah. The one, that's not my daughter that's scrambling.
Can you lower your mic just a little bit too?
You talking to me?
Lower your mic.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, he's just getting back at you because you yelled at him about the headset level. So he's doing that. In the meantime, while we're looking for those two pictures,
Well, you look like that chef, Dad. That doesn't mean that you're necessarily like siblings, right?
Or that the chef is
you don't know who my father
or
had
that the
sex
chef
with.
is your father, you see.
Yes, you don't know. I was on the road a lot. I don't know if
he
that
gets
affects
lonely,
it.
you do a hot set, the crowd's cheering, you're back in the hotel,
I always thought you married my cousin, Chloe Mandel.
Mandel. No, Mandel is the family name on this side. Mendel.
Mandel. Oh, it's an E.
Yeah. Mandel.
It's an E. I met her. She's 11. Look at this. Look at this pictures. That's you and Bill.
I mean,
that's freakish. No, we're looking at the pictures side by side of Billy and Bill, and you've got the same name too.
Okay, I want to jump back to the story. On my 18th birthday, my father took me to IHOP, where we used to go have breakfast when he was being nice, And he sat me down. You know, it's my 18th birthday, and he gets me extra food or whatever. And then he gets this funny look on his face, and I go, what? Because I know something's coming. He goes, well, I have to let you know that around the same time I impregnated your mother with you, I impregnated another woman, and she went on and had the baby. And I said, what's the kid's name? And he said, Billy. So these are the only two pieces of information I have. I'm in no way suggesting that Bill Burr's parents aren't his parents or anything like that.
In no way you're suggesting that.
No, not at all.
Why would I? In absolutely no way.
Why would I?
You're not. You're not. I don't even know why people would think that. That has nothing to do with this story that we're telling right now. But this is I'm
sure Bill Burr doesn't want to be related to me, so we'll start there.
You don't know that.
I'm sure of it.
I can call him right now. You don't want to call him?
No.
To tell him that his mother
effed
around with a
no.
That's not a good phone call, Dad.
Wow.
I can put it this way.
Wow.
Somebody gets called. I think I have your relative that you never knew about. No, by the way, it's this misanthropic rock star. I don't think that's the call he wants to get, you know.
Yeah, but maybe your father was on the road, you know, and he met a little lady, and that's what hey, how are you doing, little pumpkin? And that's the pumpkin he smashed.
My father told me he approximated that he'd been with over 1,000 women in his life. So
so then the chances are you're related to Chris Rock too. Every comic. He's been with 1,000 women?
That's what he said. He's passed away now, so you can't.
That would kill me. I would die after 700.
Have you ever done one of those genetic testing things, whether it be an Ancestry or 23andMe?
Yes, but it's under. It's not my name in there. Do you know what I mean?
But were you able to
No, but you could look and see if you have distant. That's how they find whether you have distant cousins.
Sure. Are you asking me to sleuth on? I mean, I don't follow your logic.
No, but have you seen that there's relatives that you weren't aware of?
Oh yeah, of
in
course.
the Boston area, who happen to be very similar looking.
Burr, yeah.
Burr, it's getting cold in here. I think that's an amazing story. I was not expecting. You started it. I know,
started it.
You fucking blew me away.
Because the first thing you said to me is, should we announce you as Bill Burr? And I was like, oh, here we go, you know.
Howie Mandel here. Ever feel like you're breathing in, well, let's just say, less than fresh air? Between the smog, the pollen, and the occasional questionable odor. It's like a stand-up comedy routine for your sinuses. Air Pura tackles everything from dust to mold spores to those mysterious odors that seem to linger in the air like an unwanted heckler. Breathe easy and laugh more with code Howie10 for 10% off store-wide at airpura.com. Thank you, Air Pura.
The fact that you bought Dr. Dre's company is amazing. No?
I didn't know that story, so that's why
you don't know that?
No, I didn't.
NWA.
You're being funny. Sorry.
Thank you. I love the way you do it. It didn't land, and I love the way you are the best audience, Billy. You are. I wish I had a whole room of people like you when I work professionally to say, "Excuse me, Howie, that did not land." Oh, I get it now. You're going for a joke.
You do have that audience with Mom. All the time.
I know, you're making me feel at home. You really are making me feel at home. No, but you are a big wrestling fanatic.
I'm wearing my, here we go. I own the NWA, which is the oldest professional wrestling company in the world.
Yeah, and you bought it
7 years ago or so, yeah.
Yeah, and so, but you were like the, did you see the Vince McMahon Netflix?
I have not seen it, no.
It's horribly wonderful.
Don't follow that either, but okay.
Because there's so much controversy and so much, and you've had controversy in yours too.
A few.
Yeah. But that's just basically a big concert promotion company, isn't it, really?
Yeah, I mean, wrestling is a very odd duck, you know. I mean, it's never completely grown up. And I think that's part of what people react to when they see stuff like that, is they're sort of shocked that the business hasn't grown up, but has not. Rock and roll's a little further down the line in terms of maturity, but there's a lot of stuff.
But you don't want it to grow up. I do
want it to grow up. I do.
In which way?
I never liked the way women were being portrayed on television when I watched it when I was a kid.
Oh, especially WWE women.
It extended beyond WWE for sure in those days. I think I'd like to look. UFC's graduated from the judo guy fighting the 800-pound man. Remember the early days of USC before the Fertittas bought it and all that. So I'd like to see the same thing happen to the professional wrestling business. It becomes a more legitimized American cultural business where people of every age and stripe are happy to go take their families and enjoy the show. It should basically become Vegas,
But more than those other fighting leagues, this is more produced. And I don't mean fake, because there's nothing I would break my fucking neck if I spent a second.
It's so dangerous. It's truly a dangerous sport to engage in, even though obviously we understand.
But produced and written.
By me, yeah, in this case, yeah.
That's what I was going to ask you. So are you involved in every storyline?
Oh, yeah. I write everything and produce it all and pay for it all and run it all, and yeah.
Is it lucrative? Is it profitable?
No. I bought it to bring it back. So like any business, if you're trying to bring it back, you've got to invest in it to bring it back. So we haven't quite brought it back yet, but I'm out here having meetings with people who want to talk to me about being on their television networks for a reason, because I have brought it back, at least to the point of credibility.
And then what is the next step to get a big TV deal?
It's changing. Digital rights are probably more the key thing going forward in sports, say more so than the classic television network deal. As you know, there's only so many television networks, like the ABCs, NBCs, and of those, who really wants wrestling? Very, very few historically want wrestling.
If you bring a brand partner with you, they want it.
Sure, but the digital space is, look, we're podcasting. It's like the digital space is the Wild West as far as where everything's going to go. So for me as a creative type and a way where I can control my product to get it to land where I want it to, it's no different than me coming up in clubs. We're figuring out who we are as we figure out our business partners. The minute I step through a big office door and they say, well, yeah, we're going to give you $1 zillion, they're going to start telling me what to do. You have to balance those forces out as you go.
Have you been turning down?
I wish. I wish. No one's put a gun to my head and said, I'm willing to give you $1 zillion and here's what I need you to do. But I face those challenges in rock and roll 1,000,000 times. So it will come if you're successful, is my point.
Are the live events successful
yet?
Yeah,
very right now, yeah. Yeah, we just did an event, I think we did 1,200 people. I think our biggest was maybe about 1,800 for an independent promotion without a national TV deal. That's a big ability to draw. Absolutely.
And are you creating maybe, and you can announce it, are there any stars coming out? Is there somebody we should look forward to, or is it?
I don't know. It's hard to say. There are definitely people on the roster that could be stars, but the way the business is oriented is WWE is the megalith that controls everything. There are other promotions, and they deserve respect. But WWE sort of sets the timetable. They're like the NFL of wrestling, Right. What they say goes.
Right.
Like, in football now we have the USFL or whatever it's called, and then Rock's XFL or whatever, these types of things. The same thing in wrestling. You're trying to figure out how you fit against the megalith, because the megalith's not going anywhere, and I'm not hostile to the megalith. Would
you like to sell out to the megalith?
No, absolutely not.
Have they ever approached you?
There were discussions at one point, and they were surprised that I wasn't interested in selling.
I'm surprised that you wouldn't. So that you don't have like an end. The end game is to grow yours, and
it would be the poor equivalent I use. It would be like going back to 1966 and saying you can't have the Rolling Stones if you have the Beatles. Of course you can have the Beatles, the Stones, the Kinks, the Who. There's more than enough room in the marketplace for multiple brands to do their version of a particular form of entertainment. That's all. So we just want to be up there in the top firmament with what we do. That's all. It's not hostile. It's not you have to pick a side. In the best case scenario, like Paramount or whatever, there's multiple movies coming from multiple studios, and you get to pick as a consumer what you think is most attractive to you at any given time. And if you're really a fan, you want to see everything, right? So that's the way I think it should orient around us.
You're such an artist. Do you consider yourself an entrepreneur?
No, I'm a nerd at first.
Really?
Yeah.
Because.
But does WWE feel that way, or is this just what if you feel that way, but WWE is kind of squash any competition that's coming our way?
I can't speak to anybody else's experience, but I can tell you personally, WWE has been amazing with me. Amazing. Totally supportive, not hostile, not trying to raid talent. And even in one instance recently, helped me out with something very behind the scenes that I'll forever be grateful for. They've always treated me well, whether when I was a fan and now getting in the business. I don't have an unkind word to say about the organization. They are fantastic.
Vince McMahon's not your brother, is he?
Okay, that made me laugh.
Thank you. Thank you. You don't even have to tell me what that sound was. I kind of identified it before you even said it was laughter. But, you know, most people people...
Do you know Carrot Top?
Do I know? Yes, Scott.
We should call Carrot Top.
Do you know
Yeah,
him?
we become friends recently.
Okay, I'll call him.
I love Scott.
Okay.
That would be fun to call Scott.
You're not related, are you?
If I had
wait.
If I had his money, I'd be happy to be related to him too.
I'll call him right now.
He's got more money than all of us.
Okay, let's. I'm going to call him. This is kind of a
Do
weird.
you think Carrot Top has more money than you?
Then has more money than me?
Yeah.
I am incredibly wealthy.
Does your daughter know this? Is she in the will?
She will be incredibly wealthy. She's. Do you know how wealthy I am, Jackie?
Not exactly.
Not exactly, but you know that I'm very, very successful. Right?
I do know that.
Okay.
Yes.
And how proud of you are you of
I
me?
also know that most of his business ventures are not just in comedy and entertainment. He's also involved in a lot of other stuff. So.
Okay. I don't know why I'm doing. Hi, Scott. Carrot Top. It's Howie Mandel. You're live on my podcast. Do you know why I've called? Do you know why I called you?
Because you want my boxer shorts. I don't know. What do you want?
No, Billy Corgan told me to call you.
Ah.
He's right here. He's listening.
I love Billy. He's a man. One of the sweetest guys I've ever literally just met.
Can you hear me, Scott, as I'm talking?
Yeah.
Oh, hi.
Yeah, sorry.
We were talking about you, and I said because you'll hear the story about Bill Burr, but I thought we should call you today to say hi.
Apparently, there's a small chance that his dad fucked your mom.
There's a very big chance, actually.
Wow. To find out that we're all related is so exciting.
It would explain our success.
Yes. When did you guys meet?
We met in a bathhouse in what, 87?
It was amazing.
It was amazing. We met just
I think I shaved
ago?
I think I shaved his back.
You shaved I don't have a lot of hair. You shaved just you touched it up. But we met only a month ago, maybe.
Okay.
But we're text buddies.
And formerly met, right? We've been fans of each other, and he came to my show.
Laughed my ass off.
Sweet enough, and I went to see his show, and then we just kind of
during the
like Howie, like you and I, we just hit it off.
During the performance that Billy was at in Vegas at the Luxor.
Yes, of course.
To say at the Luxor, was there a point where you pulled out a prop, you said something, and Billy yelled out, "That didn't land"? That's not funny. That didn't land. Oh, it's a joke. he never, because he's done that to me.
That didn't land. It's good.
I have made the mistake of texting Scott comedy ideas I have and getting no response.
So that's the point. You don't answer.
That's what comics do. We go, okay, we just go, oh, awesome. Yeah.
What did you want to tell him? What did he not answer? Maybe we can get the answer today. You told me.
I got overly enthusiastic thinking I could help be part of his comedy world, and he quickly kind of showed me, no, that's not how it works over here. There's one master in Carrot Top Land, and it's him.
Oh, do you have the text of the idea that Billy had?
I do.
I want to hear the idea. I'll
have to look it up. I've got it.
I will.
Oh, yeah.
Now, is Billy doing your podcast, or are you doing Billy's podcast?
We're just sitting here in a bathhouse.
Oh, because you both have at a bathhouse. Because you both have podcasts. I don't have a podcast. I have nothing, by the way.
You have something. You have so much. Buddy.
I have simulcast.
Yeah, you have your own room in Vegas.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. You look up that thing and you call me back when you get it.
Okay, I will.
I want to hear Billy, the man who told me my shit doesn't land. I want to hear what he writes for Carrot Top. Call me back.
Okay.
Bye. Oh, we're gonna get some.
I feel like I'm on the hot seat here.
You are. Music.
I will say. Wait, can I interject one more thing? We do have a really great movie idea. We talked about including you in our movie idea. We have this amazing movie idea. So if you want to...
Well, let me be the judge. Go ahead.
I'm not telling you. I'll let you, if I say the same thing that he would say, you would think he was funny. You wouldn't think I was funny. So I know that well enough.
No. Do you have a movie idea, really?
We really, honestly
I would do anything with you, buddy. I think you're
Thank
one
you.
of the most creative people that I've ever known. And the breadth of your creativeness is unfathomable from...
Thank you. That's very kind.
No, but really, the way you do business, the way you do music, the way you do... you're a poet, a spoken word poet, an amazing musician, but even designing. We were talking about that beforehand because I was showing you... Sonny has the solid-bodied ukulele that
There it is.
There it is, and I think it's sold out online. But,
I bet.
But you design, like, it's not just taking a guitar or having the ability to play a guitar, but you actually engineer an instrument for a specific sound that you try to.
I work with a company called Reverend, which is out of the Midwest that makes guitars and make my guitars. So I have worked with them to get the kind of guitars I want to play, but the idea is to also
get a sound.
Yes, but it's also to make.
He's calling back.
Oh my goodness, he found the text.
He found the text.
Oh my God, now I'm nervous.
Okay.
It took a team of researchers to find this.
Okay, this is for those who are just joining us now. Carrot Top is on the phone, and Billy Corgan went to see him about a month ago. Saw his act. And like I tried to do something funny at the beginning, and he explained to me it didn't land. And I'm sure after this podcast, I'm going to get a lot of texts. So these are suggestions for the new Carrot Top show.
This was only one. There's been a few, but the most recent one I found was I did a joke. I'm a Miami Dolphins fan, so I did a joke about Tua, the quarterback, and I said something to the effect of, how many games will the Dolphins win? I said probably Tua or something. And then Billy said, I think you should make that a Hawk Tua joke.
So I agree. So he is more in touch with the youngins.
Yes. See, I don't get Hawk Tua.
Oh, that's the girl. That's the girl.
Right. I'm old. I don't get the Hawk Tua. Right.
Yeah, she was on this podcast, and we had her do it.
I watched it.
We had her do a 23andMe because I wanted her to huck Tua into the tube, and then we told her that we read it's a Jew, and
we found out that she's one of your long lost sisters.
I saw you do that. That was hilarious.
Yeah, well, I think that's funny.
And by the way, Harlan is phenomenal too. I love Harlan.
Thank you. But Billy was just telling me that.
No more about Bill. No more about Billy.
Okay.
More about you.
But Scott,
so the
Bill,
hat with the
you told me to call him.
He's going to take over your show now.
He said that he's got a movie idea for you, me, and him.
But don't give away our movie idea. Don't give it away.
Don't give it away. I will not.
Tell him privately. Don't say it here. It's too good an idea.
I will not. I will definitely will not tell. Listen, it's really brilliant.
This summer, Howie Mandel, Carrot Top, and Billy Corgan in. Don't tell me. Now, don't tell me.
No.
It's already.
It's called Glory Hole. Glory Hole.
Goodbye.
Nice. Cheers.
Goodbye. Every night at the Luxor.
So, can I ask you a technical comedian question?
Yeah.
Because I don't know the patois of your world.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, you know when a comedian makes a really funny joke, but then they had the extra joke that goes with the joke?
Yeah.
It's like a
little
an encore of the joke.
Yes.
So that I was suggesting a little hook on top of because I thought the Tua joke was funny.
Yeah.
But I thought he could get a better laugh on top of it if he went to the Hawk Tua.
And here's what I'm going to say.
And you're going to tell me it's not funny.
No, I'm going to tell you it's great, and that's why. And he's obviously. I live on the internet. Hawk Tua was the most viral moment for you to be mentioning somebody Tua, and I'm agreeing with you. For him to be mentioning Tua. I would imagine a big portion of his audience are not Miami Dolphin fans. I did not even know that name. I don't know that player. And the first thing I thought the joke was going to be Hawk Tua. And that's where it naturally should have gone.
Yeah.
But that's the brilliance of you. That's why you're a writer.
But I had made a suggestion of an idea. I had like a bit. Is that what you guys call it? Like a bit? Like I was walking down the street and I saw a guy in a Camaro. Is that you call it a bit?
Okay.
I'm asking for the languaging of
I
your
don't
world.
think we have a language. I think
musicians have a language, wrestlers have a language, so I would assume comedians have some.
Well, here's the hook.
Okay. So
a bit. It's a bit.
I pitched him on a hook/bit.
Go ahead.
And he didn't respond. Right?
It didn't land.
Okay, it didn't land. And I wrote him back like an hour later and I said, "Did you see that text I sent?" And he goes, "Yeah, that's why I didn't respond."
But the thing about comedy, and I think it's probably the same thing in music, comics, we sit around a lot with each other, and the way a lot of us write is just spitting it out.
Yeah.
Sometimes in front of an audience. I will drop in here in town at the Improv and the Comedy Store and the Laugh Factory and Ice House, and you try your wares out on the audience and see what kind of response. And then there's always a comic at the end that goes, that thing you're doing about this, try this one other line.
See, if I am related to Bill Burr, it makes sense why I'm so interested in comedy.
I think there's a great connectivity between music and comedy. I think music is a rhythm.
I'm agreeing with you because it strikes me great comedians have the perfect rhythm.
Right, and if you could create a rhythm and a melody of ideas that connect with the listener, we get ha-ha, you get or tap or move along.
I get a disaffected goth crossing their arms.
But that's what you're going for. That was it. That landed.
That landed.
Yeah, but you were very goth. I thought you're goth.
I'm an OG goth, yeah.
Yes. Does goth even exist anymore?
Oh, yeah. It's bigger than ever.
It is?
Oh, yeah. Goth is huge now.
The goth movement.
The Cure just had the #1 album in the UK after a 16-year absence of making records.
Are you serious?
Oh,
the Cure now?
Oh, yeah.
Today?
Right now.
I had
no joke.
That's the #1 album.
Well, maybe last week, but it was just now. Yeah.
I had no idea. See, I thought that was very 90s. You're a kid of the 90s, right? Yeah, that's when you popped, right? 90s.
Yeah, but the band started in the 80s.
Your original band?
Yeah, the Pumpkins started in the 80s. Yeah, we started in around 87, 88.
2 years off the 90s.
No, but when people think of the 90s, they think of everybody bursting through the door and suddenly Kurt Cobain's on MTV every 5 seconds. But really, we came out of the culture of the 80s, which was much smaller, with factions between ska music and punk and what now is known as alternative rock. These were all just club things.
Do you mention Kurt Cobain because he followed you into the hole?
I'm not going to respond to that.
Yes, you are. I'll wait for it. I'm going to hold for the laugh. There you go.
You bastard.
Okay. Because I was reading recently that Courtney is raising money for a wildlife way station or something like that, and she's auctioning off her lyrics to some Hole songs.
One song that I know of.
That you co-wrote? Or
no. You want the story? I'll give you the real story. You want to tell jokes?
Don't want the story.
You want to tell jokes? You want the story?
Wow. Tell me a story. How do we follow you being Bill Burr's brother with anything interesting? Go ahead. Tell me the story.
So back in the day, Courtney wrote a song called Violet,
right?
Which is a beautiful song. And she told me at the time, this song's about you. So I'm not making that up posthumously because in the world of clickbait, people try to say that things are happening that aren't happening.
Violet is about you.
Yes, she told me at the time. And the reason I even know, the reason I really know it's really about me is because one of the lyrics in the song she took from me. It's something I said to her and she took it and put it in the song, which is fine. I love this song. I think it's fantastic. I wrote other songs.
I don't remember the song. Is there a line, his dad fucked Mrs. Burr? Does that?
No.
No. Okay.
Oh my God.
Sorry.
Now I know I'm sitting here. I keep empathizing with your daughter. I'm like, is this what you went through?
Do you feel like I'm raising you?
Maybe.
I don't know. Is this torture?
Taking me out to the woodshed. No, I'm enjoying myself.
No, I know. I'm enjoying you too.
Thank you. But let me finish the story. So, and this song was written in 91, 92, somewhere around there. Came out, beautiful song. It's considered a classic by many people, including me. Years later, Courtney and I wrote songs together on one of her records called Celebrity Skin, her biggest song ever. I co-wrote with her. So me and her are cool. We text all the time. So I saw that this auction was going up, and she gave some sort of quote was, the song's not completely about Billy Corgan, which is kind of a weird quote to make. I didn't take umbrage with it because I'm used to Courtney saying these things. She takes credit that I wrote songs about her before I even knew her. That's Courtney land. It's all good. We're friends and we're totally fine. So I kind of picked up on that, and I wanted to make a joke because I know how clickbait world works, which is if you make a joke out of something, they're going to try to spin it into something else that it isn't.
Right.
So it turned into this slightly dramatic thing. Here come the clickbait headlines. I saw that she was auctioning off the lyrics. I did a little bit where I held up, and I actually got some auction tickets. It's
on Instagram, I think I saw.
Yeah, it's like three tickets for $20. It goes into a kind of raffle system.
Right.
But I used it knowing people would click on it to promote the charity. So it turns into like I'm mad at her and total internet fabrication. I'm promoting the charity by making a joke saying I'm going to try to win this lyrics because I want people to support the charity because this charity is super important to Courtney. And how do I know that? Because she texted it to me. And we're talking on the side about all this, why the internet clickbait is rumbling on. So the best thing is there's been a ton of promotion for the charity.
Yeah. What charity is it?
Ellis Park, I think it's called. It's an animal chair in the UK.
Oh, wow. Does she live in the UK now?
Oh, yeah. She's been in England for years. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Very happy. Sober. She's great. She looks great. I mean, it's like like many people who've been through lots of recovery in their life, talking to Courtney now is like talking to Courtney in 1990 all over again. I feel like I got that person back. That relationship that we had back then is the relationship we have now.
Howie Mandel here. You know, I've always been a bit picky about what I put into my body, especially when it comes to my morning routine. That's why I was intrigued when I came across mud water. They're packed with functional mushrooms, not the kind that make you see unicorns, but the kind that supports focus, energy, gut health, and more. No jitters, no crash, just natural energy and great taste. Give mud water a try. You can get up to 43% off the starter kit by subscribing at mudwater.com/Howie.
How are you doing?
It depends on the day.
We're here today. You can call me tomorrow if it's not the same.
I didn't know I was going to go through this today, so I'm still working that out.
Okay. No, this is
and
another...
then, talking about, because, look, we live in the real world. I love sharing that story with you about my father and Bill Burr and all that stuff, but we know the internet's just going to go goofy with this.
Goofy. But I'm asking you how you are because you've been open like I am. I think we share a lot in as far as, I'm...
Winning. We share a lot in winning.
Hair product. I think we share a lot in our mental health struggles, so I'm just asking.
I don't know about yours, honestly. I've never
you don't know?
No, I don't know.
Anxiety, depression, OCD.
Where are you at in that spectrum at this point in your life?
At this moment,
yeah.
And it's moment by moment, good. I'm very, as I sit here and talk to you, I'm professionally medicated.
Okay.
Not self-medicated. And, I'm in therapy and I struggle a lot. So, but life and contentment and productivity it goes in ebbs and flows.
Okay.
So at this point, I'm okay. So I'm just asking you, and I know you had just everybody, you've talked about it many times, you had a tough upbringing, and I know you've been open about your mental health struggles.
Sure.
I don't think there's anybody out there that doesn't have it, and I've been an advocate for trying to make mental health part of our regular curriculum,
I love that.
Like dental health. You have kids now.
Well, we grew up in a world where that was not part of the equation. They talk to you more about your teeth than they ever talk to you about your mental health. Right?
Still. And there's an incredible
I didn't know that,
stigma.
But I'm sad to hear. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that there's somebody in place.
Well,
go ahead.
If you let me interject one thing. I was one of the only people or few people in my generation that were willing to talk about mental health in public. And I was very open about it because people would say, well, what are these songs about? What are these songs about? And I'd say, well, if you really want to know, I'll tell you. And I would tell people about my struggles. And then this thing started, which was I was using a fake mental health posture to sell records. So I was excoriated saying I was making up a childhood that didn't happen to somehow, I don't know, market myself more properly.
So in the same way, if you read my comments and stuff, people are always fucking with me as far as telling me, oh, he's good at he says he doesn't want to touch. And then he hugged that guy and he did that. And he's just trying to make a career out of giving myself kind of a headline.
Oh, I see.
But they do that. And
that's fine. But I'm just trying to understand on a personal level because I relate and then I can give you the information you're looking for, which is what I would remind anybody that's listening is when you're in a position of success and you're living your dream, right? I remember seeing you on TV. I don't know what year it was, but I remember you were everywhere at some point in my life, whether it was 82, 84, somewhere in there. It's like
Right.
you were everywhere.
Right.
And you're still here, which is amazing because that shows that your talent has sustained itself.
It's landed much more times than it
Than
missed.
today, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, than today. You're great.
So where was I going with that? I don't know. I lost my train of thought.
Sorry,
I had
that's
to
the
go for
beauty of me
joke.
as a host. That's the beauty of me. I will take a story, I will take a guess with a train of thought and throw it totally away. That's what I do.
Oh, I know what I was after.
Go ahead.
Just this is a small PSA. You risk a lot when you're in a position of success in the public sphere, in the arts, by saying, "Oh, by the way, I'm a real human being, and oh, by the way, I sometimes struggle." You're literally asking for trouble. So it takes a lot of courage to even talk about it. Whether or not anybody believes you is not your problem or our problem. But that's what I would remind people. It's like it does come at a cost.
Though the benefits outweigh the cost.
If you believe in such things, yes. I mean, but we are surrounded in this town of Hollywood land by sociopaths. How many people do you know that are very successful that are completely insane or not very nice people? It's more than one. I know that without knowing you that well.
I think the human condition is insane and not what is and what is successful.
But let me sort of go at you this way. Make up a pop star in your mind, male or female or non-gender, doesn't matter. Okay,
Right.
Most of those people, their success is rooted in presenting an image which is not real. It's a form of acting, and they're oftentimes rewarded for it. So to step outside that lane and say, "Oh, by the way, I'm a real person. Here's my family. Here's my life. Here's my up. Here's my down," that takes you out of that lane, that prefabricated lane, which in the social media area is very rewarded.
But you realize that this is just my theory. That lane, whether you're a pop star, whether you're a musician, whether you're a comedian, whether you're an actor, we all create a character and put on a costume. And whether you're the bank manager and you're putting on a tie and you're sitting in your office, you don't know what's going on inside that person's head.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Would you knowingly present yourself to the public in such a false way that you would be rewarded for it with riches and fame at the cost of yourself?
At the cost of myself?
Yeah.
It depends what that cost is. Nothing comes without pain. And whether that's mental anguish, whether that's the fear of standing in front of an audience
Okay.
and feel like at any given second you can be humiliated. I have learned to be somewhat comfortable and in control of my discomfort. And there isn't a waking moment that I don't feel discomfort.
Interesting.
And I try to, I had a very coddled, wonderful upbringing, like parents, very different than yours, but my own mental health was a mess. And I didn't have a friend, and I tried to recapture the first time I went on stage as a dare, and I was terrified. And in that terror and in that moment, that was the only respite from all the angst and other shit that I deal with. I try to recapture that every waking moment of my life to be able to take one step forward in this moment.
Right. So you answered your question. You answered my question, which is no, you wouldn't. You see what I'm saying? You're an authentic person.
Yeah.
We watch kids play. Your daughter's with us, right? We watch kids play, and we hear our kids doing funny voices. Okay, that's a natural human state to assume a state of being. A sociopath assumes whatever state of being is advantageous. That's different. That's what I'm saying. You're not a sociopath.
But
this is
doesn't
a town-
everybody, even going on a date, aren't you creating an image of somebody that...
we all try to put our best foot forward.
Is it a best foot forward or is it a fake foot? Because your best foot is not really who you are. Whether you're a young lady who says, "Oh, I'm not hungry and I'm just going to chew a little piece of salad here," but you're starved. I think we all are not.
You're being too nice is what I'm saying. You're being too nice.
I know. I'm saying everybody's fucked up. I don't know that that's nice.
To answer a question you didn't ask me, I see the world more cruelly, especially in this town. I'm more cynical is what I'm trying to say.
I think in this town, the blanket is off. You can't, being in show business gives you an excuse to be an asshole, to be crazy. You could be like that. Whereas if you're in the middle of America, you're from Chicago or whatever, I think in the Midwest, if you're working in an office in a regular industry, you can't. But to be an asshole and to be a rock star, you can be.
They're not.
I also think it's kind of shifting with social media a little bit. Like people's idea of celebrity is a little bit different than it used to be even when I was growing up. And now people are enamored with the real life and authentic influencers that they see on social media. So people want authenticity. It's not really a persona that they want anymore. And if they could tell it's fake, they're not really interested. Do you see that at all?
I definitely see a shift towards that, but I also cynically see where people start pretending to be authentic. I mean, they can't help themselves. It just becomes another guy's. Again, I'm cynical, so I'm not trying to put that on both of you.
You can't. I'm a lot older than you, buddy. You can't change.
How much older?
How old are you? I think you're in your 50s, right?
No one did your crack research?
No, I didn't look at Wikipedia.
How old's Bill Burr?
Is he 54, 57, 56, 50-something, mid-50s? Are you mid-50s?
I'm 57. Let's see how old Bill Burr is.
Let's look up Bill Burr's age.
56.
Holy shit. Holy shit. And the mystery continues. This is going to get a lot of play.
Hopefully it's good publicity for your show.
And great publicity for your family. This Christmas is going to be a little more expensive for you, Billy. It's going to be.
Are you saying I got to buy Bill a present now?
It's your brother. You don't fuck with your brother.
Half brother.
Well, so you get him a coupon, like a gift card. You have 3 brothers, full brothers, right? 2 brothers.
I have a full brother, a half brother, and a step brother.
Are you close to them?
I'm close to my full brother, not so much my half brother, and not so much with my step brother. But there's no animosity. It's just
just 1 out of 3 is a good score.
I don't think so, but
well, you're very simple.
Well, my half brother has special needs, and I had a lot to do with raising him, and so I was very close to him in the early part of his life. But we're not as close now. But again, no animosity.
Anybody have aspirations or talent, or are they musical?
My brother's a very talented artist, but never wanted anything to do with music.
Do you do art? Do you do
poorly? Yeah.
What is your medium?
I don't know. I mean, everything that sort of extends from my world has some tangential connection. So there's no separate version. Like I write and I draw, or I say I want this for an artwork or something. So it all feels kind of self-contained.
Are you doing poetry anymore? You did a lot of.
No, I had I really want to release another poetry book, but I had such a bad time in poetry world.
What does that mean?
Well, work backwards. I think my book came out in 2004. It was called Blinking with Fists. It was Farrar, Straus and Giroux, which is a very august, well-respected publishing firm out of New York.
Bougie.
Thank you. So, okay, good. And, I'm meeting people, and the book comes out, and it was a top 20 New York Times bestseller list, was the #1 poetry book of 2004. I think that was the year. Never got one invitation to any poetry festival, never got an invitation to a school to come teach them about how I became a writer. They just completely turned their backs on me and acted like I was some weird interloper. Very, very, and by the way, when you take on the poetry world, you get like these screeds written about you, how dareth he,
But isn't it like that even in music? Like if you cross genres, isn't there
Not like this. There's a lot of motivated, bitter people in poetry that sort of seem to come out of the woodwork because I deign to waltz through their world. I mean, literally, I was on a Cleveland radio station on a Sunday morning to get publicity about my book. And I'm sitting there while the guys do, hey, Live 104, we'll be right back with Billy Corgan about his poetry book. And I'm looking down, it's the Cleveland Plain Dealer. And there's an article about me, about my poetry book.
Right.
So in a younger age, I'm stupid enough to look at the article, and it was a poetry professor from Cleveland University saying, he's not a poet, he's a lyricist. You figure that, can I cuss on your podcast?
Fucking yeah.
Like, what the fuck is the difference between lyrics and poetry and just dribble drabble?
I was just going to say, music is poetry to music.
It got so dumb, and I was just like, oh, fuck all you people. So I walked away from
But
poetry
he's a professor.
world.
He's a teacher. You know the old saying, those who can't teach. You know that.
Yeah, and I still remember when I was in 3rd grade and the teacher told me I had no artistic talent and I better stick to something else.
Is that true?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It's great to, she's a teacher. And but you would never discourage.
Never.
Right? Never. But I can't imagine that somebody in 3rd grade is discouraging.
I mean, the quote was, you have no artistic talent. None.
And here you are at 56.
57. Bill Burr's 56.
Bill, I always get you and Bill mixed up. Still remembering what your 3rd grade teacher said, which is incredibly sad for
That's
me.
all. It's all good. But I just think that, life is easier in reverse, right? For me, it worked out, but there's maybe somebody sitting there that it didn't work out and they're still aggrieved by it.
You didn't answer me.
Okay, please.
Are you okay right now?
It honestly depends on the moment, and I'm not being dramatic. It's a lot to take on. I'm doing the podcast.
You have a beautiful family.
I have an amazing family. I have a 3rd child on the way. I have a 9 and a 6-year-old as a 57-year-old dad. We just found out yesterday.
The 3rd child on the way is with your wife, right? Not somebody in Boston.
Not Mrs. Burr, no.
Okay, good.
And we found out yesterday it's a girl, so we're expecting a girl sometime in the spring.
Congratulations.
Band's hotter than it's been in 20 frickin' years. We were just here with Green Day playing SoFi Stadium, and
amazing.
We'll be back again. I think at the Forum playing the K-Rock Christmas show.
Jingle Ball. That's not the Jingle Ball. That's Kiss.
I think it's called. They used to call it Acoustic Christmas, but I think they might. I don't. Maybe they still call it Acoustic Christmas. But we've played it many times, and we always have a great time there. And
that's amazing.
Thanks to K-Rock for always inviting us, because we've been on K-Rock for now, 30 plus years, which is crazy.
Your members of your band change a lot, right?
Okay, slow down. We have 3 of the 4 original members, so this is as intact as we've been since 1999.
Wow.
Or 2000, yeah. So it's good times.
So that is a good time. So we'll look forward to
sure.
that. And do you have a favorite thing to do? Like, I'll be honest with you, as much as I love podcasting and I love hosting and I love judging, but stand-up comedy is my thing, is my jam. Is playing music your...
Songwriting is my thing.
But that seems very isolated.
Love it.
You love that.
I love it.
What does it take to write?
Are there other songs that we don't know about that you wrote?
That are famous?
Yeah, that we'd be surprised that were you.
Nothing huge that I can think of.
You didn't write the Macarena, right?
I wish. No, I mean, I've written songs for artists as diverse as Natalie Imbruglia, Korn, not for, but with Blue October, a band that's called Bones UK. This record just recently came out. Phanogram. So many. Third Eye Blind.
You say you like the writing. So what is your process? Do you
Are you really interested? Because I'll tell you. I mean,
why do you think I would ask?
No, I don't know, because there's the short version and the long version. I don't want to give you the long version.
Why?
It's boring. I don't know. I just don't want to bore you.
I don't think when I'm talking to an artist of your stature and you tell me how you create the art,
all I know is when I talk to Carrot Top, there's always a clock running, and if I'm not funny or
he's got
interesting,
an 8 o'clock show. I got nothing else to do today.
You know that feeling? There's like you better hurry.
Maybe he does. Does he make that noise?
No, but
I want to know what your process is.
Traditionally, it's the moment I wake up in the morning, whether it's 4:30 or 6:15, I go right to an instrument and start writing.
Howie Mandel here. Picture yourself feeling the freedom of the open water, charting your own course, or simply relaxing on deck with the sun and the sea breeze. Sailo.com makes it easy to find the ideal boat for your next adventure. Let me tell you, with Sailo.com, you are just a few taps away from your next great adventure. Sailo's got over 50,000 boats in more than 1,000 locations around the world available to rent. Trade your couch for a captain's hat, and Sailo, your ticket to a world of adventure.
Wait. Do you really get up at the
I do get up very early. I do.
And you will get out of bed and go to a guitar
a piano or a guitar, yeah. And start writing immediately without even taking a drink of water.
Every day?
No, I go through periods. There's times where I'll write every day for 3 months and then not write for 6.
When you say you get up and you go to a piano or a guitar, Is it a melody that you have, or do you have a lyric, or do you have what do you have? What do you get up with?
You don't. You start literally with a blank piece of paper in your mind. I'm not thinking I got to write a rock song or a sad song or a Macarena. It's just, I just, whatever's going to come out of me, I honor that to the teacher in the room. I try to honor whatever comes out of me. I think I try to get back to a place, and I'm using the equivalent of a kid. To me, the most interesting moment of a kid's life is all kids, when they first start coloring, they don't orient to the world that exists. They're coloring outside the lines, a rabbit's face is red and the paw is blue or something. Right. And then somewhere along that line, whether it's 4 or 6 years old or something, somebody comes and says, no, that's not how you do it. You got to color in between the lines and know the rabbit's face isn't red. I'm saying is I try to get back to the space where there are no rules, there are no ideas about who I am or what is a good song. I just try to honor whatever comes out of me. And 50% of the time, the first thing I hit, whatever it is in that morning, generally speaking, is a fairly good idea. The other 50% of the time, it's like taking a long hike. You're just kind of playing along and just, well, that's interesting. That gets boring in 5 minutes. I'll go this other way. And eventually, hopefully, you land on something that strikes you as odd or different or engages some emotional part of your being that makes you think there's something there.
Music first before lyrics?
Almost always, yeah. I have done, in fact, probably one of my most famous songs, 1979, was a poem that I set to music. And strangely enough, the poem fit perfectly to the song. It was like lightning out of the sky. It's so strange that it worked.
Because you're a lyricist and not a poet.
Thank you.
You're welcome. See, I just went back to the Cleveland.
I got that.
Yeah. No, but I find that fascinating. Because I've talked to some other people who say that, I think we had Richie Sambora here the other day that said it was a title. He started with a title. He wanted to tell a story.
That works too. That can work. It does help. I mean, when I've written for some movies, it helps to know, well, this is the name of the movie or this is the feel of the script. It does kind of put you in a zone.
When you write for movies, I know you've written songs for movies. Do you score?
I have done some scoring, but man, and I did some stuff in the 90s. I worked with Ron Howard on one thing. It was awesome. But there's so many cooks in the kitchen. It just gets too complicated. You know what I mean?
Notes. You mean getting notes?
You're talking to you'd be on these emails where there'd be literally 29 people chiming in about music, and they're not musicians. I mean, imagine you telling a joke and then getting an email with 29 people going, that one word.
It's called television. Yes.
Okay. Well, then you understand.
I do understand. So the writing process seems to be. You don't have. I can't imagine loving the idea of. I like the idea of maybe coming up with an idea and then taking it out onto the stage and watching them react to it.
Yeah.
When you're playing a place like the Forum or a stadium or an arena. Fuck, and then this is this little thing you had when you woke up, and then they're all going along. I can't. They're not equal.
That's cool. But what's cool and strange and magical and sort of confusing about it is one thing lands 30 years later. Despite all my rage, I'm still just a rat in a cage, and literally 50,000 people are singing along. You're like, wow, this is awesome. But there were all those other ideas from different times that they don't land. They don't connect that way. And I couldn't tell you why one does land and one doesn't. And I'm not,
same thing.
I'm not complaining because my percentage is pretty good. They say in baseball, if you get 3 hits out of 10, you're a star. Well, I've gotten enough hits along the way and had enough success that I'm qualified, but there's still a lot of failure in all that. And I literally could write you 2 songs, come back here tomorrow and say, I wrote these 2 songs. And one goes a classic and the other one nobody ever wants to hear again. I literally then or 50 years later could tell you why the one worked and the one didn't. It's a mystery to me.
It's the world. It's just how people are, how the things are received at a time, by who, in what order. That's the magic of comedy too. Because
you've dealt in mainstream American culture for so long, there must be times where you go, why can't they understand this thing that I believe in? I mean, like the mob isn't always right, and there's been plenty of Hollywood movies made about how the mob isn't right.
9 out of 10 things that I throw out there, that's exactly the question I have. And I throw out them thinking they're all home runs. Did you want to be a baseball player?
Oh, yeah.
I know that was you.
Oh, yeah. Totally.
You're an athlete.
I would have given up music, no problem, for baseball.
To be a Cub.
Oh my God, are you kidding me?
No, I'm really saying that to you.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying in the Chicago affirmative. Okay.
And I was trying to be funny, and it didn't land. Yeah. You're a fascinating guy. You really are a fascinating guy.
You think so? I don't think I'm just such a weird nerd.
Maybe that's what makes you fascinating.
I'm comfortable with where I'm at in my life. I don't feel the need to perform, and I'm totally comfortable being funny or not funny or cool.
You're inspiring,
or not cool.
though. But it is cool. It's she said it earlier. It's authenticity that makes people, that draws people to emulate and want to be like.
But can I tell you how I landed there? Do you mind if I just spiel on that for a second?
This is a podcast.
Okay.
If you sit quietly, it's boring.
I wanted to be other people. I didn't have the ability to be other people. When I was 14, if I could have sung like Robert Plant or Robert Smith, I would have. You know what I mean? I was continually, whenever I presented myself as I was rejected in every phase of my life. My father never thought I could be successful as a musician. He told me not to bother. I turned down a scholarship to the University of Michigan, full ride, the whole thing, 4 years. Everybody thought I was completely insane. Everything I tried to do that came from me didn't work. But what if I try to do something else by others? Let's call it a pale imitation. We've all been there.
Smashing Pumpkins is originally you.
Yes, but what I'm trying to say is the reason I ended up back being me is it seemed to be slightly better than me imitating someone else. It seemed to have an advantage, but there was no empirical evidence to suggest that it had a pathway to success. Because I was rejected as myself, I tried to be other people. That seemed to be worse, so I just came back to myself. And now, having done it for 30 plus years in public, I counsel young artists all the time. It's just, you really won't understand what success is if you're not yourself.
Did your father ever acknowledge your success?
Oh, yeah, but it was a long, weird, circuitous path.
Was there any jealousy because you...
Oh, yeah.
You felt it, though? Or you're just...
Oh, yeah. No, he was overt about it.
What do you mean? What did he do?
You got lucky. Save your money because you're going to need it. Oh, yeah. It was weird. It was very weird. And I love my daddy. I mean, I didn't grow up being one of those people. I hated my dad, and I didn't care what he thought. I mean, I worshiped my father. My father was the coolest. He was a drug dealer, stoner, gun runner, musician. I mean, he could really play and he could really sing. He was very good looking, very charismatic. I mean, I would...
And he won the lottery.
Well, you do know that story. The story is his wife's aunt won the Florida State Lottery, singular. So it was 27 mil. But he didn't tell me, and the reason he did tell me that his wife's family won the lottery is because he didn't want to pay me back the money that he stole from me.
How much did he take from you?
All told, it's hard to say, but it'd be somewhere between $20,000 and over $100,000. But it's complicated, and it's not worth talking about here. But yeah, it was a lot of money.
Wow.
Put it this way, if your father steals a penny from you, I don't know how you sort of sort that out.
You don't. Or you have. Are you in therapy?
No, I have been, but not now.
Wow.
I went into kind of like, let's call it practical application. Like, I've learned all these things. Now can I kind of handle it on my own?
Are you religious?
I hate when people say I'm spiritual because it seems to be a dodge on what religion they are. I was raised Roman Catholic. I believe in Jesus Christ. I don't have a problem with that, but I got nothing to do with the church. I mean, the church is just, to me, just a total mess. So if I'm a practicing Christian, it's only in my heart, you know.
That's your church.
I could just easily tell you I'm a Buddhist or you know,
you'd be lying.
Gnostic. No, there's plenty of historical evidence to suggest Jesus was a Buddhist. I don't know if you know about that. You know, basically the Bible doesn't cover Jesus' life from about the age of 3 to 30 or something. There's 27 lost years, so people have long speculated what he did. There's actually a monastery, and I'm sure somebody will internet fact check me, but there's a monastery in India that has their records going back literally 2,000 years. And they literally note that some guy came from the West and studied with them. And if you read it, you go, well, it could have been Jesus because it sounds like him. So it's interesting. And even there's when there's the story in the Bible where they're playing dice or whatever to see who gets to win Jesus's robe. Well, apparently the reason they were so after his robe was he had a very expensive robe that had come from the Far East or something. That's stuff I've read, and I don't know what's true, but it's interesting to ponder about.
When does the next tour start? I know you're doing the Christmas show.
I'm going to Australia in a few days to do some solo shows, and then I'm not sure yet on the Pumpkins what we're doing. We have a few more things left to do this year, including the K-Rock show, a show in Chicago. But we've played more shows this year than we probably played in about 20. So
How many shows do you do a year?
It really depends, because this year was very busy. So we probably did 70, 80 shows, but that's all of Europe, all of South America, all of America. So, it doesn't sound like a lot of shows, but figure you're traveling in between all that a lot.
Do you want to wrestle?
No, I have no interest. It's too dangerous.
No, I mean you and me right now.
No, not at all. You're strong. I can tell.
No, I'm little.
You've been probably CrossFit training for 80 years.
I don't CrossFit. Let's wrestle.
You've got
I want to wrestle you.
No.
I want to wrestle you.
No, thank you.
You don't want to wrestle.
No, I'm too attracted to you.
And you know what? That's the end of the show. It's just awkward. That's the end. Thank you.